Hey everybody, it is Road to Recovery, and it is another beautiful fall day outside. And I decided to bring this one outdoors because I just wanted to sit down and have a little chat with you today about a little acronym that I've always found helpful in recovery space. And it doesn't matter what your addiction is, but it especially applies to, I would say, porn addiction. The acronym is HALT, H-A-L-T, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And there's a caveat to the L, which I'll talk about here in just a second. So the whole premise of this is that the acronym acts as sort of like a barometer. It's your way of being able to check in to see how you're feeling and make sure that none of these emotional states are affecting you in a negative way, because if they are affecting you in a negative way, this could lead to you being more susceptible to a trigger. And I'll repeat that again. If you find yourself in any of the HALT state, you could find yourself more susceptible to an emotional trigger. And so when we talk about this, let's start off with the H, hungry. And all of us have been hungry before. I know in my specific situation, my wife gets really nasty when she gets hungry. And she's not the only one. I don't necessarily get punchy, but I will get dizzy and lightheaded, and I'll certainly be more susceptible to more soothing behaviors when I'm hungry. So anytime you feel hungry, right? I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but sometimes you don't always have to go running to food to find like some sort of emotional security. Remember that the whole point of being inside of recovery is that we don't run to the solace. Like, we're not trying to soothe ourselves. That's the wrong take. However, hunger is a basic need. You need food to survive. So even if it's like a light snack, even if it's just drinking some water, if you feel yourself just being hungry, acknowledging the fact that you're hungry first, always do that. And then just finding that quick plan. And that quick plan could just be, my friend Mark, who have recorded a video on this channel with, he carries a bag of nuts with him, man. And, it's low calorie, and it fills a protein need for his diet. It's a fantastic snack to just carry around with you, so you don't have to go running to a high sugar thing like a candy bar. So yeah, just keep that in mind, man. Plan ahead for your hunger. If you're the type of person that's getting hungry regularly, you may just want to see if there's some way that you can mitigate that throughout the day through having a controlled diet plan. For some other folks, it just might be just eating more. Like, if you're prone to just having one meal a day, make it a good meal, right? So that it carries you through the whole day. The next one, angry. Now, anyone who's been watching my channel knows that I'm an angry guy. It's one of the areas that I've had to really focus and start working my butt off on, because anger will bring me into such a bad state of mind, and I'm definitely more prone to acting out when I'm angry, and I'll carry that anger with me. So recognizing if you're in an angry state, just, hey, you know what, I need to chill out here, man. I just need to go take a break. Sometimes it's just getting out, like on a day like today, right? Just getting out, just taking a little mental break. And 90% of the time when we're getting angry at something, it's usually over some bullshit. You're putting a lot of value and meaning on, in the grand scheme of things, isn't really that big of a deal. If somebody cuts you off at a traffic light, who cares? Tomorrow, if you just can let this thing go, you probably won't even remember, right? But if you go do something stupid, wow, that could be something that you might be regretting for a long time. So it's sometimes hard to recognize that our emotions are putting us into precarious state where we're making bad judgment calls. It's better to use mindfulness tactics to recognize when we are getting angry, because that leads us to, hey, you know something? I'm not in a good state of mind right now. I just need to take a break. Whatever that break is, just walk away from it. And 9 times out of 10, whatever that thing is that's pissing you off, If you just walk away from it for just a little bit, chances are that anger is going to subside, but also the value that you're placing on the thing that you're being angry about is not going to turn out to be as important as you thought it was. Okay, lonely. This is a big one, especially for porn addicts, because like I've said in the past, our addiction tends to be done in isolation. So when you are a porn addict, being isolated is the thing that you have to work actively against, right? And our sense of loneliness, right? When we are lonely, ironically, could be filled by doing something that is done in a state of isolation, right? Video games, surfing the web, internet browsing. So for some folks, gambling. Some folks got, stock trading problems. Whatever that thing is, man, like whatever that thing is that you do in isolation that tends to keep you occupied, right? Because the occupied mind, when you're kind of like engaging, whether it's like browsing social media or, looking at pornography, it's time that's wasted in isolation. You are doing this in an isolated state, right? You're alone. And your sense of loneliness, whatever you're doing, you're still alone. Your brain is being tricked into the fact that something is happening, but in fact, nothing is happening. You're just engaging with a screen. I like to say that loneliness shares the same place as another word, boredom, right? So boredom, when you start feeling it, we tend to train ourselves to doing something to occupy the mind. Again, social media, being in front of a screen, whether it's watching TV, a movie, it can be looking at pornography, it could be doing anything, man. But if you're in front of a screen and no one is present with you and all your attention is focused on the screen, you're bored, right? You're using that screen as a way to satiate your boredom. And again, getting back to what I said earlier, it's like when you're inside of this space, when you're inside of recovery, trying to find satiation, trying to be satisfied is usually what gets you into rooms in the first place, right? The whole point of being in a recovery space, serenity, is to find that balance, is to work your butt off so that you can find balance in your life when the waters are really stormy. You're not trying to go run and feel satisfied in something, especially when the shit's hitting the fan. You have to learn how to find the balance inside of yourself to say, I got this. I got this. And most of the time, the I got this is not running from your problems. Finally, the T, tired. Obviously, when you're feeling a sense of fatigue, sometimes this can be from just working your butt off at work. Sometimes this can just be from like maybe taking on too much. Sometimes this could be just from exercise, whatever gets you to the tired space. Again, using mindfulness to kind of exercise, hey, you know what? Man, I'm really tired right now. Sometimes we can find ourselves in the same position with boredom, that when we start feeling tired, we don't want to rest our mind. Instead, we're trying to fight against it. And I hate to say this, man, like I'll give this lecture right now, I guess. I sleep fantastic. I never used to sleep well at all before I got into a recovery space. What I've learned is to accept that when I'm tired, it's time to go, man. It's time to get that nap. It's time to go get 8 hours of sleep. And I wake up in the morning and I just feel great. I feel great, right? Learning to accept that it's okay to miss out. It's okay to let your body rest. And you need that rest most of the time. Your body's trying to tell you something, right? So using mindfulness to kind of check in and say, man, I'm kind of tired right now. I shouldn't be in front of a screen. I should not be in front of a screen. I should be sleeping. I should be napping. I should maybe be just kicking back on the lazy boy or the hammock, right? And I say that as I'm looking at a hammock. Ooh, right? You don't think that's getting put to use right now, right? I put that thing to use all the time. You know, recognizing when you're tired and that your body is actually trying to tell you something, acknowledge it. There's going to be times where you have to fight through fatigue because you just don't have the opportunity to sleep. And I get it, man. But this is talking about the rigors of our lifestyle. When we start to recognize that we're fighting off fatigue all the time, perhaps you should actually give in to it once in a while and go get some rest. And the reason why is because a lot of us, especially those who are porn addicts, when we start getting overly tired, it's the screen that'll keep us awake, that'll give us that nice little endorphin kick. But again, getting back to what we said in the earlier ones, hey, that endorphin kick, it's being done in isolation. It's being done while you're alone. And there won't be any good results from you being in front of a screen looking at pornography 8 or 10 hours when your body is telling you you need to be asleep. So H.A.L.T is a fantastic acronym. It is used in just about every single 12-step program that's out there. And I hope you find it useful. You know, I'll share the image of what H.A.L.T is, the acronym itself. Maybe go find a Google image or something and print that out and keep it next to your computer. Keep a mental engagement of what H.A.L.T is and think of it as a tool that you can use in your recovery tool chest. My name is Road to Recovery. I don't make any money on this channel. I do this all for free. This is my 12th step, giving back to the addict who still suffers. I do this because I find it helpful to help others. If you could, please like, share, subscribe. It helps me get the word out. Thank you for listening and stay on the road to recovery. Happy Halloween. Take care.